What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a quick Destiny 2 news update. And this is a pretty interesting one because of course this week the Guardian Games event has kicked off in Destiny 2, so we'll speak briefly about some of the event stuff you may want to know about. But also we have some very interesting information regarding upcoming content, so we are going to talk about the return of a Destiny 1 shotgun. And yes, we're speaking about Felwinter's Lie, which has been touched on quite a few times. That is now actually visible in the database. And yes, it is going to be returning with the infamous shot package perk from in Destiny 1. But also there are hidden lore books, some hidden upcoming quests, and we even have a pretty interesting leaked cutscene from Jinsa as well. And so we'll talk about that, some of the updates today, some of the new rewards for the Guardian Games event, and a few other pretty interesting things worth knowing about. So guys, as always, I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, a rating down below really helps me out. But now, let's get into it. And so, spoiler warning for this video. We've been given spoiler warnings when speaking about this subject for quite some time, but definitely a lot of folks are going to start speaking about it now because the infamous Destiny 1 shotgun, Felwinter's Lie, is visible in the database. So, of course, this is dropped into the game in the April update, and we're going to speak about Guardian Games itself in just a moment. But in the database, you can simply view the Felwinter's Lie item right here. We've got the text line, "I just like the name, doesn't mean anything, Lord Felwinter to Lord Timur." And of course we can see the updated icon for that weapon in Destiny 2. But Jinsa also shared what are going to be the perks for this weapon. So immediately in the database we can now see shop package, and it does say exotic intrinsic. It actually says this for quite a few different perks in the database. But it does apply to Felwinter's Lie, despite the fact that that is a legendary shotgun. So shot package right here in Destiny 2, an aggressive frame shotgun modified to have more uniform pellet spread. And so shot package is actually the intrinsic archetype now. But then looking further at the weapon stats right here, we can see shot package once again in the perks, but also full choke, accurized rounds, and then we have slide shot and opening shot. And so presumably this is going to be a static roll of the weapon, although that could indeed change. But it also has a lore tab here, so it reads, "We can't tell anyone. Do you know how powerful a Warmind is? I know you do. We've been running from one for centuries. Not just powerful, either. Intelligent, storing every secret of the Golden Age, from the Traveler's arrival, right up until the collapse. Imagine if people realized you had all of that buried somewhere in your head. Just imagine. So we can't tell anyone. You're something totally new, part Guardian, part Warmind. There's no one else like you. I think that's why the Traveler sent me to you, but other people won't understand it, and Rasputin will never, ever stop coming after you, after us, ever. So it's just us, Felwinter, just you and me. This is our lie, and ours alone." And presumably that comes from Lord Timur right there, so the story here is definitely very interesting. But also we can tell from this that it says the source for the weapon is by completing the quest, The Lie. And so that is also one that we can actually see on Light.gg right here. Big shout out to DestinySets.com as well as Light.gg. Really cool Destiny databases, and I'll link them down below. But The Lie is an unknown quest step, and it says visit Anna on Mars to obtain the quest, The Lie. Anna needs your help. Band together with fellow Guardians to complete Seraph Tower events across the EDZ, on Io, and on the Moon. And so we're not entirely sure when that is going to kick off. As a quick heads up right here, players have been reporting that on the EDZ, if you complete a certain percentage of the Seraph Tower event, some Rasputin frames will actually spawn in the winding cove near the bridge. And there's a Rasputin node there as well that gives you an encrypted Warmind bit. We're not sure right now if this is going to lead to something else or is something that could progress, but it's definitely part of the Seraph Tower update. And it appears that this upcoming quest and the reward is kind of going to be linked to the story in general here. So definitely some really cool stuff going on there. And of course this is alongside the Guardian Games event. But Felwinter's Lie itself, it should be noted, could take a few more weeks before it actually becomes available in the game. On the subject of Felwinter's Lie and the quest though, Jinsa also said that there is a lore book kind of hidden away, so it's called The Liar, and it's a pretty significant lore book with 13 separate kind of parts, and he also said, should we share it or keep it secret? So who knows, maybe it's something that'll be shared, but we can see the artwork that we had speculated in the past could be linked to Felwinter, and I guess that is now confirmed to be the case, so something else we can expect to see alongside that content once it starts rolling out. Now, while we're in spoiler territory, Jinsa also shared an upcoming cinematic that was part of the update today, and this is on their YouTube channel here, so we're actually looking at Jupiter right here. Very interesting in itself, but then For a brief second, we see the tip of one of those pyramid ships coming into view. Obviously, some content that's coming up in the future, and is going to be a further part of the pyramid ship Tease that's taking place over a period of time here. Once again, we don't know if this is content that we are going to get next season. Obviously, this story thread is going to continue through next season at the very least, but whether pyramid ships arrive next season or in the season afterwards, or maybe in both seasons, is something we're going to have to wait and find out about. Nonetheless, I will link that little cutscene that Jins has shared down below if you guys want to check it out. However, then for Guardian Games itself, as we mentioned in the reset video, you can actually view the heir apparent inside of Eva Levante's inventory, and generally how the event works is probably fairly self-explanatory, one of the big elements being that you need to complete any 7 Guardian Games triumphs to actually unlock the heir apparent. So some of the easier ones to get done, especially in a fire team, would be the strike ones that you get initially. And I would say that any folks who really like a good grind, yeah, you can probably get it in a few hours' time. And so we are at least not having to wait 2 weeks or anything like that. It's simply the case that there's a bit of a grind until you can get access to the weapon. And there is a catalyst listed in the database for this one as well, requiring 700 kills to upgrade, but whether we'll actually get access to that in gameplay, we'll have to wait and see. For a quick additional look at some of the items we're going to get via the event, there is the Team Spirit ship. This is an Eververse drop right here. Not necessarily everybody's thing, but they're worth taking a look at. These should be rolling out throughout the course of the event. But there's also the Underdog exotic ship, once again, which is another Eververse item. And then we have the Runner-Up Sparrow, followed by the Victory Lap Sparrow. There are a handful of vehicles. And then we've got the Shuffle and Scat emote, and these are newly listed items inside of Light GG, so there are more items than that in total, but these are ones that I don't believe we've seen in the past. For any of you folks who are working on the exotic quest for the new exotic ghost shells, these are the class ghost shells as part of Guardian Games. They are certainly pretty cool, and it's nice to get some cosmetics, but definitely worth noting that there are 3 different weekly steps for this quest. So, of course, we have the one available right now. But looking ahead, a Classy Challenge Part 2 consists of, in Week 2 of Guardian Games, earn points by collecting laurels generated by final blows with supers, grenades, and charged melee abilities. And that objective is actually the same for each step of the quest, but simply has to be done over 3 separate weeks. So a bit of a heads up, and that's something certainly worth bearing in mind there. And then separately there is the class competition itself, and it's going to be interesting to see just which class actually takes the lead. If you want any additional tips or a basic overview of Guardian Games itself, I did kind of cover that in the reset video. It is a fairly simple look at how the event works, and if anything turns out to be really good for farming materials or gear or anything like that as part of the event, then I'll be sure to keep you posted, but otherwise, once again, completing the medals and the triumphs really is the key focus of the event, with medals being the main way to score for your Guardian class. So bear that in mind, guys. And also, if you wanted a potential date for the Fellwinter's Lie, JP Deathblade had previously said that May 19th was the listed date for the Fellwinter's Lie ornament to actually turn up in the game. And so, if we're expecting to see the weapon as well, it's probably going to be around that time before we actually get access to it. And so that also could be when we get some kind of conclusion for the story this season, and maybe even more further hints to what's going to happen next season. But for today, guys, that's everything we have to talk about in this video, and so I hope you have found this one useful. If you have, a like rating down below is very much appreciated. Let me know your thoughts about the return of Fellwinter's Lie with Shop Package, the grind for Heir Apparent, or any of that interesting cinematic content. Bungie did do a quick dev insight video earlier on for Guardian Games, so if you want to check that out, we can run it right here. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you've enjoyed the content, then be sure to get subscribed so I can keep you posted on the world of D2. But otherwise, I hope you have an awesome day.
There's always been this kind of undercurrent of which class is the best class.
This is the first time in Destiny where we're saying, prove it.
Guardian Games is a competition between the classes. It's Titans versus Hunters versus Warlocks for bragging rights for the entire year. You'll go and visit Ava, and she'll have some gold, silver, and bronze medals that you can go after by playing various activities. You get points for your class as well as personal rewards for you. At the end of the event, the winning team will lock on gold, the second place team will lock on silver, and the third will lock on bronze for the whole year. You can sport that class item all year long, and as your way of bragging, like, yeah, Warlock class, best class.
I love Warlocks. Hunters are going to win.
Yeah, we are.
Obviously, Titans are going to win Guardian Games because Hunters can't
punch hard enough. Their fists are really small.
Warlocks are the best class.
Warlocks, all they do is sort of float around and read books.
Warlocks, obviously.
Hunters, because there's more of us.
Oh, God.
The people that talk the talk, it's now like, okay, can you walk the walk? And obviously, hunters can do that, and we'll see that.
Warlocks floof the floof. That's what we do.
What does that mean?
That's what we do. We floof.